You mean they could still be living in a primitive state of neurotic irresponsibility?
Precisely. And if they are, well, it may give them the power to shatter the loving union of the universe.
But that could lead to archaic insecurity and...
And war.
You mean selfish competition and...
I mean war. Bloody conflict between entire tribes.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I. But we can't take the chance.
Something must be done.
Yes. And you are the girl who must do it.
Why me?
Oh, this is impossible. How can this be happening to me? Please, somebody save me. I did so much good in this world.
4,000 killed in a bombing. Who cares? Not you. Train accident kills 300.
Who cares? You don't know anyone on that train?
No, we just don't care until it directly affects us.
If we have to crack a few eggs just to preserve our freedom, well, you just tell me where to point and where to shoot. If you're not in the United States, you can't love anyone. You don't even feel.
Allegiance to world, then to country, then to state, then to city, then to family. What about their world? What about their country? What about their state? What about their city and their family?
Do you not realize that if they kill you, then you win because they didn't die?
If my precious little soul gets tortured for days, well, guess what? I win.
Because billions of people around the world are not being tortured like I am.
Because billions of people all over the world with emotions just like mine are experiencing love and happiness.
Because while you can kill me, you can't kill us all. I quit the game a long time ago.
I didn't want to be the girl that wore only panties under her skirt and wondered why everyone was trying to look up it.
I was never the person who kept using drugs and wondered why his IQ consistently dropped.
I didn't want to be the girl who wore cleavage shirts and complained about how teachers stared at her boobies. I never was the guy who drank a little much and ran over some girls then got arrested and wondered why.
Yes, I quit the game and opened my eyes to reality. I stopped trying to get lucky.
I knew that I'm just like everybody else.
There's nothing special about me because I died just like you.
Just like little piggy, I can be led to the slaughter. Billions have come before me and billions will come after me. I am nothing but a number. And just like me, you're a nobody too.
You wonder why it is I will never kill you.
You wonder why it is that I will never take these hands and violate you. It's because even if I had sick and twisted desires, they would be irrelevant. What I want in this world is irrelevant. And even if I made it all the way to the end and won the game, it just would not matter. I will grow old and I will die forgotten, just like you. No victory will grant me special powers or immortality.
I am just another cow waiting to be killed.
Another chicken waiting for its head to be popped off.
But one thing about me,
I do know the game, and because I know I can't quit all of them, when my turn is up, I promise you I'll try my best
to not complain.
Remember this about the world:
cause and effect.
Because the reality is that a lot of things that happen to you happen because of you.
God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars, advertising ads chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need.
On this bridge, Lorca warned, life is not a dream. Beware, and beware, and beware. And so many think, because then happened, now isn't. But didn't I mention? The ongoing wow is happening right now. We are all co-authors of this dancing exuberance where even our inabilities are having a roast. We are the authors of ourselves, co-authoring a gigantic Dostoevsky novel starring clowns. This entire thing we're involved with, called the world, is an opportunity to exhibit how exciting alienation can be. Life is a matter of a miracle that is collected over time by moments, flabbergasted to be in each other's presence. The world is an exam to see if we can rise into the direct experiences. Our eyesight is here as a test to see if we can see beyond it. Matter is here as a test for our curiosity. Doubt is here as an exam for our vitality. Thomas Mann wrote that he would rather participate in life than write 100 stories. Giacometti was once run down by a car, and he recalled falling into a lucid faint, a sudden exhilaration, as he realized at last something was happening to him. An assumption developed that you cannot understand life and live life simultaneously. I do not agree entirely, which is to say I do not exactly disagree. I would say that life understood is life lived. But the paradoxes bug me, and I can learn to love and make love to the paradoxes that bug me. And on really romantic evenings of self, I go salsa dancing with my confusion. Before you drift off, don't forget, which is to say, remember. Because remembering is so much more a psychotic activity than forgetting. Lorca in that same poem said that the iguana will bite those who do not dream. And as one realizes that one is a dream figure in another person's dream, that is self-awareness.
But you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
Why are you here?
Same reason. I love candy.
But why help us?
We're all here to do what we're all here to do. I'm interested in one thing, Leo, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together.
The idea that states were voluntarily invented by citizens to enhance their own security is utterly untrue. Before governments in tribal times, human beings could only produce what they consumed. There was no excess production of food or other resources. Thus, there was no point owning slaves because the slave could not produce any excess that could be stolen by the master. If a horse pulling a plow can only produce enough additional food to feed the horse, there's no point hunting, capturing, and breaking in a horse. However, when agricultural improvements allowed for the creation of excess crops suddenly, it became highly advantageous to own human beings. When cows began to provide excess milk and meat, owning cows became worthwhile. The earliest governments and empires were in fact a ruling class of slave hunters who understood that because human beings could produce more than they consumed, they were worth hunting, capturing, breaking in, and owning. The earliest Egyptian and Chinese empires were in reality human farms, where people were hunted, captured, domesticated, and owned like any other form of livestock. Due to technological and methodological improvements, the slaves produced enough excess that the labor involved in capturing and keeping them represented only a small subset of their total productivity. The ruling class, the farmers, kept a large portion of that excess while handing out gifts and payments to the brutalizing class, the police, slave hunters, and general sadists, and the propagandizing class, the priests, intellectuals, and artists. This situation continued for thousands of years, until the 16th to 17th centuries, when again, massive improvements in agricultural organization and technology created the second wave of excess productivity. The enclosure movement reorganized and consolidated farmland, resulting in 5 to 10 times more crops, creating a new class of industrial workers displaced from the country and huddling in the new cities. This enormous agricultural excess was the basis of the capital that drove the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution did not arise because the ruling class wanted to free their serfs. but rather because they realized how additional, quote, liberties could make their livestock astoundingly more productive. When cows are placed in very confining stalls, they beat their heads against the walls, resulting in injuries and infections. Thus, farmers now give them more room, not because they want to set their cows free, but rather because they want greater productivity and lower costs. The next stop after free range is not freedom.
They use their tongues to deceive. The venom of snakes is under their lips. Their mouths are full of bitterness and curses. And in their paths, nothing but ruin and misery. And the fear of God is not before their eyes. They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful. And they have blinded us to the truth. Our human spirit is corrupted. Why do we worship greed? Because outside the limit of our sight, feeding office, perched on top of it from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners. They have us. They control us. They are our masters. Wake up. They're all about you, all around you.
The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain.
And if I ever needed proof of how the dark side had taken the beautiful dream of what a nation could be and had twisted it, destroyed it, well, that was it. But I won't stop. I won't give up. Because when I look at what is happening in the world, I know that now, more than ever, we need to be all that we can be.
What?
Now, more than ever, we need the Jedi.
Don't stop seeking truth. This is Carmine Doyle, and I brought this message.